You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Tuesday, the 3rd of June. US-India nearing trade deal as talks progress, says Commerce Secretary. Traders in Gilgit-Baltistan protest against illegal taxes. And Bangladesh proposes $65 billion budget cut, rail and power funding amid inflation. And now for all the details. As Pakistan is also set to send a copycat delegation to the US, the all-party delegation from India uprising Washington on Operation Sindoor are going to face an interesting situation. The Indian delegation-led parliamentarian Shashi Tharoor on Monday commented on US President Donald Trump's repeated ceasefire claims and said that no one needed to persuade us to stop the operation. We didn't need to be persuaded because we don't want war, he said. Tharoor said that he has enormous respect for the US but denied claims that the US had mediated the ceasefire.
So in that sense, no one needed to persuade us to stop. We had already said stop. So if there was any persuasion by the American president or his senior officials, it would have been persuasion of the Pakistanis. They would have had to be persuaded. We don't need to be persuaded because we don't want war. We want to focus on development. That's the basic message.
Tharoor also spoke of the possible India-Pakistan face-off in the US and cited Pak's delegation's exact same day's visit. It is an interesting phenomenon. Earlier, Tharoor led all-party delegation visited Brazil and praised the woman-friendly meeting. Meanwhile, trade negotiations between the United States and India are making progress and a deal could be finalized soon. US Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said on Monday as both sides push to conclude talks ahead of a July deadline. You should expect a deal between United States and India in the not too distant future because I think we have found a place that really works for both countries, Lutnick said at the annual summit of the US-India Strategic Partnership Forum in Washington. He later posted a short video of his remarks on X saying, "We have a great relationship between the countries. I am optimistic for a trade deal soon that will benefit both nations." A US trade delegation is scheduled to visit New Delhi on June 5th for further discussions. India's Trade Minister Piyush Goyal also visited Washington last month to push trade talks. Lutnick said Washington was seeking lower tariffs, particularly on agricultural products, greater market access for US firms, and increased purchases of defense equipment, with an aim of reducing its trade deficit with India. In return, it was prepared to expand access for Indian exports. He said strong ties between President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi were helping ease negotiations. Moving on, massive protests have erupted in Pakistan-occupied Gilgit-Baltistan against unjust taxes imposed on traders and their consignments struck near the dry port with China. A report.
Traders in Pakistan-occupied Gilgit-Baltistan held a massive protest recently against illegal taxes being imposed by the Pakistan government. The traders accused the customs officials of imposing illegal taxes and deliberately delaying their consignment clearances for over 1 year at the Sost Dry Port near the border with China.
गिलगित-बल्तिस्तान के अंदर जो कंज्यूम होगा, यहाँ सेल टैक्स और इनकम टैक्स का निज़ाम गैर आइनी है और गैर कानूनी है और उस कस्टम एक्ट के अंदर भी गिलगित-बल्तिस्तान में सेल टैक्स इनकम टैक्स का नफाज नहीं है। तो यहाँ के छोटे ताजिरों का वो डिमांड था। दूसरे जो ताजिर हैं बड़े, उनका जो बलख पड़ा है सोस्ट ड्राई पोर्ट के अंदर जो 250 से 300 कंटेनर है। ये बात याद रखें, गुज़श्ता 9-10 महीने से ये तकरीबन अरबों के हिसाब से गवर्नमेंट का टैक्स को भी लॉस है।
This is not for the first time that people of Gilgit-Baltistan have protested against such arbitrary economic measures by the government. The locals have long alleged they do not receive any benefits of the China-Pakistan economic corridor, despite the region being the gateway of the mega project.
Moving on. Nearly 4 million children in Afghanistan are currently out of school due to inadequate infrastructure, lack of clean drinking water, and a severe shortage of qualified teachers, especially female instructors, according to UNICEF. Economic hardship remains a major barrier, forcing families to withdraw children from school so they can contribute to household income. As a result, child labor, often in unsafe conditions, is on the rise amid the country's deepening humanitarian and economic crisis. The Taliban's return to power in August 2021 led to a series of restrictions on women's rights, including a ban on education for girls beyond grade 6. This policy has drawn widespread international condemnation and has drastically reduced access to education for Afghan girls. UNICEF emphasized the urgent need to recruit more female teachers as cultural norms in many communities favor women educators, especially for teaching girls. However, the ongoing education ban has significantly worsened the situation. UNICEF estimates that over 2 million girls could be out of school by the end of 2025, further widening the gender education gap. And the Bangladesh interim government unveiled its first national budget of $65 billion on Monday for the fiscal year starting in July. The proposed budget, reduced by $576 million from the current fiscal year's $65.58 billion, reflects fiscal restraint amid rising debt servicing costs and limited fiscal space. The budget targets a fiscal deficit of 3.6% of GDP, down from 4.6% in financial year 2024-25, the lowest since 2010. The proposed budget sets a revenue target of $46.42 billion, with $41.07 billion expected from the National Board of Revenue and $5.35 billion from other sources. The budget prioritizes social safety nets, education and health. Infrastructure and power receive $6.58 billion, though new projects are limited. Debt servicing at $7.41 billion consumes 11.4% of the budget. Significant cuts include the Railway Ministry, reduced by 50% to $635 million, and the Power Division cut by 30.5% to $1.67 billion, reflecting fiscal restraints and reduced foreign funding. With inflation at 9.17% and a tax to GDP ratio of 7.4%, the interim government faces hurdles in revenue collection and economic stability. Political unrest and a 58.5% drop in foreign loan commitments add pressure. Business groups have welcomed textile duty cuts but worry about VAT hikes. Citizens on X express mixed sentiments, praising exemptions for essentials but fear tax burdens amid inflation. With Parliament dissolved for over a year and elections scheduled for 2026, the interim government will approve the budget via a presidential ordinance. And as the movement to restore monarchy gains traction in Nepal, the largest party in the House of Representatives, the Nepali Congress, has said it will hold gatherings across the country in support of the republican system, the Kathmandu Post has reported. The first gathering will be held in Kathmandu, followed by gatherings across 77 districts. Shyam Kumar Ghimir, chief whip of the Congress Parliamentary Party, was quoted as saying by the Kathmandu Post. According to media reports, Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Deuba expressed alarm over the monarchist movement's intensity, as he described their actions as calculative, serious and clear, urging the party to respond decisively to protect the republic. A key player in Nepal's transition from monarchy to a republic, Nepali Congress has said it does not support the idea of restoring the Hindu kingdom, highlighting that in the past they had accepted constitutional monarchy only to be betrayed time and again. The announcement comes amid heightened tension between political factions over restoration of monarchy, which was abolished in 2008. Coalition of 44 pro-Hindu and pro-monarchy groups alongside the Rastriya Prajatantra Party has been staging regular protests in Kathmandu. These groups demand the reinstatement of the monarchy and the declaration of Nepal as a Hindu state, challenging the secular republican framework established by the 2008 Constituent Assembly. Opposing their demands, the ruling CPN-UML had also held a rally on May 28th, coinciding with the Republic Day. The CPN Maoist Centre has also organized similar events, signaling a unified front among Nepal's major parties against the monarchist surge. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.